How much money do actors get paid? How much money do actors actually make? How much can I expect to make from certain jobs? Actors, it's time to discuss money. If you missed my last actor finance video where we talked about loanouts and S-corps, you may want to check out this video up above, and be sure to check out the pinned comment on that video for more clarification. Money can be a taboo topic, but it doesn't have to be. Let's talk about it. Knowing how much money actors generally get paid can offer you valid insight into the acting industry and your part in it. But how can you go about landing auditions in a new and innovative way? That's easy. With ReelCrafter. I've talked about how incredible this resource is before, and we are back with another sponsored video. ReelCrafter is an incredible online resource that allows you, the artist, to have all of your acting materials in one place. ReelCrafter allows you to seamlessly upload your acting materials by dragging and dropping them to create your very own personalized reel. Now, in order to create a reel that's competitive, I would recommend maybe including 1 or 2 on-brand headshots. These headshots should be specific to you and to what you offer. If you don't have any on-brand headshots, please be sure to check out this video up above where I walk you through the entire process. I would also recommend including a bio that is on-brand, specific, and concise, as well as including a tagline. Your tagline can be anything that you want. I chose to make mine the vulnerable final girl because I want to star in horror films, and I've been told that I bring a lot of vulnerability and a lot of empathy to characters that I play, even if they maybe are not the most likable. So a tagline is concise, yet specific. Another example of a tagline could be the love child of Uma Thurman and Pam Grier, or whatever actors you would be the love child of. Don't take mine. Just remember, make it specific to you. Next, I'd recommend dragging and dropping your acting demo reel with some on-brand scenes that start right on your face the very first second. This is because it's your acting demo reel, not somebody else's, not whoever you're playing opposite of. And yes, even if it's a celebrity, casting directors already know celebrities. They want to know you. I'd also recommend using some on-brand colors that maybe you generally gravitate towards, colors that maybe can be found in your headshot, colors that look really good on you, or colors that really embody your essence. So for me, that's browns, that's greens, maybe some oranges, maybe some grays, probably like desert tones is what I generally gravitate towards, and that's kind of what Nico is, like deserty, foresty. That's probably me. So figure out what yours is and maybe include 3 or 4 of those colors throughout your reel. Kind of play around. You'll find the balance. And voila! Now we have an incredibly specific competitive reel that we can send off to industry professionals. Oh, I almost forgot. Don't forget to put your agency contact information if you have that, your manager's contact information if you have a manager, as well as your IMDb or your social websites, and those will appear at the bottom of your reel. So there you have it. All of your materials in one trackable link. How cool is that? I mean, it makes me feel so modern and high tech and in the know. I challenge you to create something awesome. Actually, I dare you to try it. You can use my link in the description box down below, as well as my code NIKKOPRO to get your first month of ReelCrafter Professional for free. Once you've made your reel, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. I'll click on it and you'll be able to track how I've interacted with your profile. So dope. Thank you so much, ReelCrafter, for sponsoring this video. What's good, honey bunch? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nico Smith, and I make videos about the business of acting. I share my experiences in the hope that they will offer some insight or some clarity on what it's really like to be a modern day working actor. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's continue on this journey together. For all intents and purposes of this video, I will be discussing rates for SAG actors because those rates are measurable and trackable. So if you are a pre-member, i.e. someone who's not in SAG yet, don't click out. This video can still be of so much use to you because you'll be able to know what to expect. Let's first go over a few terms that you've probably heard thrown around. Scale. This is the minimum an actor can be paid by production. Most actors who are in the co-star to guest star range will work for scale. That's including me. Scale is the minimum. It is not the ceiling. A lot of productions and people want actors to feel like, oh, they're getting scale, like they can't get any more than that. But that's not true. That is the absolute minimum. That is the base at where negotiations start for how much you'll be paid. Day rate. The minimum rate per day a production is required to pay an actor. Weekly rate. The minimum rate per week that a production is required to pay an actor. Please also note that if you are scheduled to work 4 or more days out of the week, for a production, then they will most likely bump you up to a weekly scale instead of paying you per day, because it honestly ends up being a lot cheaper for production to pay you that way. Deal memo: the deal that was agreed to by you, by your team, and by production. If you want a more detailed breakdown of what exactly a deal memo is, please check out this video up above. So how much do actors generally get paid for theatrical work? This encompasses TV and film. So I'm going to be referencing the SAG-AFTRA rate sheet for 2024. Keep in mind, these rates are scheduled to increase on July 1st, 2024. So the rate will be different later on, but you can always reference the rate sheet so that you can stay in the know and know when increases are happening and make sure that you're getting paid right. And I will link the rate sheet in the description box down below. For theatrical work, there is a day rate and there's a weekly rate. Usually these will come into play for co-stars, guest stars, and recurring roles. The current day rate for a theatrical actor is $1,158. So let's say you book a one-day co-star on a SAG-AFTRA show, you get to set, you fill out your contract, the rate should be $1,158 on your contract for that one day. And if in the deal memo you see that you were supposed to be paid an additional 10% for your team, your agents and managers, then it will be $1,158 plus 10%. That will be the language that's in your contract in your trailer. The current 3-day rate is $2,933. The same goes for the 3-day rate. If it was agreed upon that you would get an additional 10% to pay out your team, then in your contract you should see $2,933 plus 10%. The current weekly rate is $4,019. And again, if it was agreed upon to have an additional 10%, you should see that language in your contract as well and verify everything with your team before you sign. Now, let's talk about series regulars and top of show guest stars. Those roles are known in this current SAG-AFTRA contract as major role performers. For a half-hour program for 5 days of work, it's $6,369. For a 1-hour program for 8 total days of work, it is $10,190. These rates do not include things like mileage, meal penalties, overtime, per diem, etc. All of that will be paid in addition to what your rate is. And usually for series regulars and top of shows, they will not include the additional 10% to pay out your team, generally because it's agreed that it's a good amount of money that you'll be all right to not get the additional 10%. If you're not a top of show guest star or a series regular, like major performer, that I've heard and seen that the average guest star rate for any show, especially on streamers, is about $7,600. Now, let's talk about my favorite term and a term that I hope I will be able to use this year, and that is called Schedule F. If you are hired as a Schedule F actor, that means that you have a set rate for a set amount of time. The current Schedule F rates are $80,000 for film and $32,000 for TV. Again, this is the minimum. Your team can negotiate more for you, especially if it's for an extended amount of time that production is wanting you to be a part of their story. Now, I like Schedule F because it's guaranteed. It is certain, but some other actors may not like it because you technically are locked in for that amount of time. And generally, you can't do any other work until that project is finished. Basically, that production owns your time. But if they're paying you enough, is it worth it? Comment down below and let me know if you'd like to be a Schedule F actor this year. Keep in mind, again, these rates are the absolute minimum that a production is required to pay an actor. Some productions do offer more, and your team is definitely able to negotiate more on your behalf. And if you don't have a team and you're negotiating your own contract, it's so imperative that you're in the know of what the absolute minimum is so that you can go from there. And again, I've linked the SAG-AFTRA rate sheet in the description box down below. Now, commercials and voiceover, those are separate contracts. I wanted to really focus on TV and theatrical work because I think that's where most of you guys are aiming for. So let me know if you want me to do voiceover or the commercial contract as well, and I will. So you may be thinking, wow, $80,000 or $32,000, like that's a lot of money. That seems really high. And you can definitely see why being an actor can be a very lucrative business. But please keep in mind that you'll also still need to pay your team and taxes. So let's say you're recurring on a Netflix show, okay, and they offer you $7,600 per episode for 5 episodes. Great. So let's do the math in our heads. Math. That's $38,000. Wow. Yay. So now you're also eligible for SAG-AFTRA health plan insurance. But hold on, because if you have an agent, 10% of that goes away. Boom. If you have a manager, another 10% of that goes away. Boom. So now you're at $30,040. But hold on, because now you also need to set some aside to pay taxes. So let's say 10 more percent goes away. Boom. Okay, now you're at $26,600. And let's say the series has a total of 10 episodes. You're in 5 of them, and it shoots for about 5 months out of the year. So if your episodes are spread out over a period of 5 months, then your take home is about $5,320 per month, which is great. But then you've got to pay your rent. If you live in LA, that's quite a lot. You've got to pay your insurance, car bills, utilities, etc. It becomes not as much money as you think it would. What about when the series premieres? You're invited to the premiere. Yay! But now you got to figure out how to style yourself, possibly hire a stylist, possibly hire a hair and makeup crew, which isn't cheap. And what if this is your only job this year that you book? A take home of $26,600 for the whole year is not enough to live off of in LA. So I'm not saying all of this to upset you. I'm just saying all of this to put it into perspective. The numbers sound great if they are consistent all the time, but they're not. Oftentimes, professional working actors work 1 to 5 jobs a year at most. So please keep that in mind. That's why I think it's so important to be financially literate, to diversify your income streams, maybe with audiobooks or voiceover or commercials. That's why I think also it's so important to understand investing, understand how to save for retirement, and understand the importance of high yield savings accounts and saving your money. And do not live beyond your means, and possibly still have a day job that doesn't suck your soul. There is no shame in earning your bag. If you're interested in more actor finance videos, these next videos are for you. And don't forget to use my link in the description box down below, as well as my code NIKKOPRO to get your first month of ReelCrafter Professional for free. And I will see you all in a new video Thursday after next. Bye.